Okay, for the normally we have four different or five different structures for the MCB. The first one is we call it C45. Okay, here is the oh, sorry. Here is the spare parts for C45. Okay, you can see the spare parts is a lot. The spare parts is a lot, but all is some very small parts here. And this is the basic design for the MCB, and also is the simplest or quality most stable MCB. This one, the maximum we can do it for the 4.5K, but it's very stable, no matter for the samples or for the mass production. 4.5 no problem. And also this is the I think in China, in the Chinese domestic market, the C45 is used in the market more than 90%. It's very normal. And this one, we call it C50, C50 design. Here you can see the parts is not a lot, only a few parts. But if you know this MCB, you will know this is the most complicated, or we can say the most difficult MCB for to control the quality. Okay, this one we already do the 10K breaking capacity testing, already passed, even for the 63 amperes, but we cannot make the 10K when we do the mass production, which means we do the mass production, we can only do 6K, because you know it's very difficult to control the quality during production. But this one is also still very popular, because you know this designs. You can see this design. This is the finished the MCB. Actually, this MCB, the body is the backlight body. The backlight body, and it's very heavy. Also, the backlight is very good for the fireproof. It's fireproof, very good. Okay, this is the second one. The third one also is very, I think, common in the market, and we call it L7. Okay, this MCB we sell a lot of spare parts to the Indian market. Okay, Indian market, very popular designs. This one. Okay, for this MCB, I want to introduce very clearly, because you know this one also is our the best selling spare parts for among all the designs. Actually, for this one, we can see you can see this is the bimetal system, coin systems, and this is housing the knob clip, and they have one indicators, and you can see the red one or the green one, which means on off. Okay, this is the design, and you can see this is ash chamber. No, ash chamber. Ash chamber. The function is for the cooling systems. For example, when the MCB, when you put chipping on, and sometimes the moving contact and the fixed contact connected in maybe in 1 second, the electricity will make the sparks in the MCB, especially in this place, because this the connected point in here. So this ash chamber will put something here. When the sparks come out, will be running into this inside. You can see this material is iron, the iron materials. So when the sparks go into this ash chambers, the sparks will be exist very soon. So it will be not hurt for the MCB bodies, which means it will be not to make fire of the MCB. Okay, you can see this is some the terminal the terminals and screws in the terminals, and this is some other spare parts. Okay, this is the bimetal springs, knob springs, and the latch springs like that. Okay, you can see. Okay, the final one is the we call it the C65. C65. Okay. Actually, this MCB normally we make 10K because this 10K and it's the real 10K, no matter for the special samples or for the mass production. You can test every piece, then you can pass 10K. And also the same function, the same parts for all different structure MCBs, housing, knob, coil system, memory system, ash chambers, and this was parts. But you can see the designs, the parts, and the dimensions all is different. Also, the inside structure is different. Okay, this all is for the MCB, and actually we have another circuit breakers. We call it safety breaker, and this one. I think just now my colleague Epson and Miss Anna already introduced for these breakers to you. And actually, why I introduced these breakers, because these breakers now is getting more and more popular for the local production in the South Asia, such as the Thailand, the Vietnam, and the Myanmar. Also, even in the Egypt, it's very popular. This one. So, if you want know more uh, details of all the MCBs, and you just contact with me, and I will share all the informations to you. Even which we just said about the machines, the molds, spare parts, and everything. Okay, after introduce all these different structure MCBs, I think you have a general idea how the MCB looks like, and how the MCB inside the different functions, the different operations, different systems, and different parts also. So it will be better for you to understanding it. So now I will open one MCB to show you directly the inside. Okay, actually you can see this is the just now we said this is C45 MCB, the inside. Okay, you can see this is assembled here. First, this part is for the operation, for the knob, on, chipping off, the chipping operation. And then second is for this the coil systems. Coil system we call it short circuit, short circuit systems for the coin. And here is the bimetal systems. This one bimetals, and this is for the overload systems. And one more system is for this ash chamber, the cooling systems. You can see the red one. The red one is for the cooling systems. Okay, so this is the MCB. After open it, and this is the inside. You can see it's very simple. After you know how to assembling and how to manufacturing it, and after you know the technology, after you know how the MCB workings. Okay. So here is all these uh, MCBs for these structures, for the parts, for the systems, and now come to the most important part is if you manufacturing it by yourself, and what kind of support you can get from us, and that means uh, why you should not worry about this manufacturing. Okay, first I told you we give you the mold and the machines, and the parts, and also the most important is we can give you the technologies. Okay, we're not giving you the parts only. We can give you the guidance for your workers. Okay, when you get the spare parts from us, and when you want to start assembling, or before you start assembling, you can send your workers to China to our factories. We will training your workers here, and one by one in the every step to teach them until they get to know the whole steps for the production. And even also you can send your engineers come here, and our engineer also will training him for the MCBs. That's all the technologies, the knowledges. Okay, and then we will give you uh, if you cannot send your workers to China, like this year, the virus is very badly infected for all over the world, so you cannot come to China. Then we will give you the online training, which means we can arrange the video meetings. You can arrange your workers. I will arrange my engineers to make the training online. And then, if this is not possible, then we will make the documents. Documents. It's very easy to understanding. For example, for assembling, we will give you the pictures, and first we will make all the list for the MCB from 1 to maybe to the 20 to 30, and to make different. For example, the MCB, the housing is the part 1, and the knob is part 2, and the inside the other part is part 3, part 4, like that. And second, we will make a documents to identify that which is step 1, which is step 2, which is step 3, one by one, very clearly, and for the understanding. So after you get the documents, you can maybe ask your engineer to learn it and to try to assembling it by himself. And then after your engineer or your technology guy get to know the how to assembling, then you can how to say, you can training your other workers. Okay, here is the second one. The first one is you can send your workers to China. The second one is if you cannot come China, we will give you the online guidance or the documents guidance, like that. And the third one is when you during the assembling or during the production, if you meet some problems, we can make a video calls, or we can arrange the online meetings to show to solve these problems very fast or immediately. Okay, because now you can see the WeChat or the WhatsApp also very convenient, and also the Facebook, and some all the different apps we can use to make the communication more effective. So this we can solve all the problems very fast, and so you no need to worry about your production stop, okay, because of the problem. And the last one is we can we can supply you all the spare parts uh, because in our city this is the biggest electricity production base all over the world. More than 60% electricity products from for the all the other countries from China, from window. So our factory is here, and we are doing this SCM services. That means supply chain supply chain management services, which means we can find the very good spare parts suppliers for you, and we collect all the different parts from different suppliers, and then to make you easier for this business for manufacturing the MCBs. So you no need to go to different factories to search the different parts, to check the different dimensions, and then if you go the different factories, and you also, if you are not if you are not familiar for the market, also if you have don't have the local guide, so you will not find the right factories or right suppliers. So that's what we do. We collect the information and do the services for you. But we also make the MCB by ourselves. Why we do this business, do the services, just like I explained, because the advantages for these Chinese factories is getting lower and lower. Not only for the cost, but also because some the you can see the global economic is not so well under such situations. So many countries to support their local factories or their local uh, economies. So they put high barrier for the tax for finished products, and they are reducing the tax for their local factories, and that's their domestic economy can running good and maybe to increasing it. So that's why we are doing this business. We start this business maybe after uh, before 5 or 6 years before. Uh, at that time, the business is good, but we think about that uh, because we have visited many different countries and different factories of our customer. We saw that you cannot even imagine for this their local the labor cost. For example, in China, the labor cost sometimes its average cost salary is around 800 or $900 every month. But in some countries, there maybe $100 or $200 every month. So this is very big difference for the cost. And also now the even in China, if you pay such high salary for your workers, but your worker is not very stable. For example, uh, this year we hire 100 new employees to our factories. Maybe after 6 months or 7 months, half of them maybe already go to other factories. Why this happens? Because uh, some reasons for the other factory they can give you a little higher salaries, or maybe their working environment is a little better, and then maybe some other reasons is their living place is a little closer than the factories, so they change their jobs, change the companies. But in the other countries, I think this it will not happen. Even their workers working is not very fast. That means they are not very effective, but they are very stable and they are honest. Okay. Just now I have talking about that we have visited many different countries and many different factories of our customer. So now I want to share some stories of of what we saw and what we experienced